Good evening, friends. Welcome back to my channel, Market Knowledge. What is the direction market is going to take next week? What are the events that will make the markets decide the direction it should take? What are the technical parameters that the market is sitting on? What are the option chains indicate? In this video, let's try to analyze these factors and try to get an opinion of where the markets will go next week. But before that, let's have a quick review of what happened last week. Before the market started, there was a wall of worry for the Indian markets. The US markets had closed down almost 2.5%. There was a huge tension between India and China, and the number of coronavirus cases in India were just going up and up and up. The chart seemed to indicate bullishness, whereas the sentiment seemed to be bearish. So last week, we had said that our view was that market should be bullish. It would be cautiously bullish. I don't see a huge rally happening, but for the next week, it would be a cautious bullishness. That paid out reasonably well. And the markets last week closed about 2.5% up, almost 2.5% up. What's going to happen this week? What caused the markets to go up? The key reason why the markets went up was the data that was coming in. All the data that came in was positive. One classical example was the GST collection. GST collection came at 90,000 crores, which is just 10% below June last year. 1 month into the relaxation, and if we can get these kind of figures, it indicates that we are possibly looking at a good recovery. Employment rate improved from 23% to just about 11%, which means that the rural employment scheme is working. The petrol and diesel consumption picked up quite nicely. The toll collections at our toll gates went up nicely. So every data seems to indicate that we might recover much faster than we anticipated. And that is why we are seeing this bull run. And let's not forget, the government would be transferring almost 2 lakh crores. It already has transferred quite a bit of it, and this money will come into the economy, and that is what we are seeing in the markets. Next week we have the IAP data coming up, but that's Friday, and on 15th of July we have the Reliance AGM, in which we could expect some good announcements by Reliance. Reliance is now almost a debt-free company. A lot of action happening in that company, and it's a very huge heavyweight, having 10 to 12% weightage in the Nifty. So overall, I think we can expect the market to be positive. The financial institutions, the foreign ones, they were kind of net sellers for 5,000 crores, and the Indian institutions bought about 5,000 crores. That net, the institution, the effect was almost zero as far as the institutions were concerned. The good news we heard, one of the best good news we've heard in the last 4-5 months, is that we've now developed a vaccine for corona, and it might be out as early as August. So these are factors which are keeping markets positive. The markets have run up quite a bit. The market is still bullish, but like I said, it has to be a cautious bullishness. Let's now look at what the charts are indicating. So friends, now let's look at the technical side of the market. This is the Nifty chart in front of you, and what you can see is last 4 days market's been making a higher high. Look at this, look at this, look at this, and look at this. For 4 days, market's been making a continuous higher high, which clearly says that the trend is bullish. Now, what about the weekly charts? The weekly charts also, you are seeing a bullish higher high pattern. You've also seen a crossover here. So, both in the Nifty weekly charts and the Bank Nifty charts, very clearly the trend is bullish. Although the market seems to be approaching overbought levels with RSI at 70, the trend continues to be cautiously bullish. Let's quickly look at the option and chain analysis. This is for the week expiring on 9th of July, and what you can see here is the interesting thing is 10,500. At 10,500 you have 20 lakh puts written, and at ATM, that is 10,600, you have 11,84,000 puts written. The call sellers are also very strong. At 10,600. The OI, the open interest is 24,85,000. But the activity, if you look at it, the highest activity is here at 10,500. There is 1,15,000 fresh puts being written. That is the highest among all calls that you can see here and all the put writing that you can see here. The open interest for calls is the highest at 24 lakhs 10,600, and 10,400 we have 23 lakh puts being written. So generally, if you look at it, this seems to be indicating that the market is slightly bullish, because you've seen some call unwinding happening at 10,700, 10,800, whereas you've seen fresh call writing happening at 10,500. So this indicates that the trend seems to be bullish as far as the Nifty is concerned. Let's look at Bank Nifty. These are the weekly charts of Bank Nifty. Again, you are seeing a pattern of higher highs and you have a positive crossover. So this indicates that the Bank Nifty is also bullish, but the daily charts seem to be giving us some caution. On Wednesday, we had a huge movement, a movement of almost 1,000 points here, 800 to 1,000 points here, after which Thursday and Friday we saw a consolidation. So markets were kind of in a very narrow bound but with a negative bias. So if Nifty on Monday is positive, we might see Bank Nifty also breaking the range, and it might give us a nice big up move. But we need to wait for Monday, and we need to make sure that if it trades only at about 22,100, that is the time we should be looking at longs. As far as the Bank Nifty option chain is concerned, the highest open interest is at 21,000 puts and at 21,500 puts, whereas in calls you have at 22,500, 7,32,000. Reasonable activity as far as the call writing and put writing is concerned. They're kind of even in both places. But as you can see, at 21,500 you have 25,000 contracts being written fresh, and at 22,500 calls you've got 25,000 contracts being written. So this is kind of giving us a mixed reaction, but overall the sentiment seems to be positive. If Nifty trades positive and crosses 22,100 and remains there for half an hour, 45 minutes, it might be a good time to buy. However, like I said, markets are approaching overbought zones. So if you see a trend reversal, which simply means that markets close at below yesterday's lows, then we should become cautious. Thank you very much, and I hope you find this video very useful, and if you do find it useful, kindly like and subscribe to it. Thank you.